Anaheim, California, Elizabeth Begarin was murdered after cops say she and her husband, Nuzio Begarin, were followed by 3 Hispanic men. And while cops speculated Nuzio Begarin was behind the murder, cashing in on a $1 million life insurance policy that he forced his wife to take out, authorities didn't have enough evidence to make their case. In early 2012, Detective Darren Wyatt of the Anaheim PD was given the task by the DA's office to take another look into Elizabeth's murder. A hard look.
Right there, baby, right there. Take a deeper look at the gang connection and the connection between Jose Sandoval and Nuzio Begarin.
Jose, trust me, we're going to find out who was in your car that night. We're also going to find out how Nuzio got to you.
Oh, yeah? When I chatted with your buddy 14 years ago, I told him everything I knew.
Preacher.
What? I don't know any more now.
All right, well, let me tell you what we now know. We know that you and this cousin of yours, this Guillermo Espinosa, used to think you ruled the streets of Bell.
Cut it.
Something else we know. We know that Nuzio Begarin, prior to marrying his wife, actually lived in Bell. Now, all we have to do is put the two of you together before the shooting. I'm talking to all the same people. All the same people the original detectives talked to. We're going to find out how your alibi passes the test. But you know what? I got to tell you something. I don't think it looks too good for you and your cousin.
So then I went back and started re-interviewing the alibi witnesses and locking them down further as to whether they really saw them during the time period the murder occurred.
What if I told you it wasn't me? It wasn't me that Nuzio knew. I'm just saying.
Then, under a threat of subpoena, Detective Wyatt was able to bring Nuzio Begarin in for questioning. He arrived with his attorney.
Mr. Begarin, you said you tried to give the men who shot your wife some money, but they wouldn't take it.
I don't recall.
And your wife, Elizabeth, wrote down the license plate. That piece of paper was found torn in 4 separate pieces by one of our officers, just a few feet from her dying body. You didn't tear that paper up?
I don't recall.
There's not a lot you do recall, is there?
I'm afraid I don't. I don't recall. I don't recall. I don't recall. I don't recall.
As the investigation progressed and we looked for fingerprints on that piece of paper, the only identifiable fingerprints were Nuzio Begarin's, and they corresponded with the tears in the paper. My belief is that he knew he was going to be brought back to the police department and didn't know whether or not he would be searched. So if he had picked it up and put it in his pocket, it would be suspicious. But by tearing it up, he had already decided that he was going to say that the suspects tore it up to try and destroy the evidence.
Stay there.
He's the classic con man.
Someone please help me! My wife has been shot! Please! Stay there! They shot my wife!
But Begarin's con would soon be over when Jose Sandoval
Preacher.
realized he had no other choice but to come clean. He told cops how Begarin met with one of his gangbanger buddies who set the whole thing up.
You gotta make it look like a robbery. You understand me? Yeah. You'll see us.
Who's that?
You follow us from there. You understand me? Yeah. No problem. I get the car, the shooter.
He offered an individual $6,000 and told him that he needed his wife murdered, and that individual then went and recruited Jose Sandoval and really more specifically Guillermo Espinosa.
We're really going to Las Vegas?
Yep, and we've got to look at the parts. Let's hit South Coast Plaza. The ladies in my life deserve the best. Here, keep this in.
Where did they kill him at? Anaheim or Placencia, huh?
I don't want to walk around with all the cash.
Because he had a padding Corona. Knew that he couldn't do the murder himself, wanted to distance himself from it, so he hired gang members to commit the murder for him.
Newsy, what do they want from us?
Relax. There's a highway coming up. What are you doing?
I'm writing the plates down so we can call into the police.
We don't have time for that.
Yes, we do.
My belief is that Elizabeth, being a police officer, became suspicious when she saw the vehicle behind her and actually wrote the license plate number down on the piece of paper.
Yo, pull over now.
That's Downer.
Everybody out of the car. Show them your bed. Maybe they'll
run out with a badge in her hand talking about I'm a correctional officer. I don't believe that's my sister's character. You know, she was left-handed. I understand they found the badge in her right hand. And growing up with her, I know she grasped everything with her left hand.
For 14 years, Nuzio Beguerin remained a free man. That was until he and Jose Luis Sandoval were arrested. As for the man who Copse Beguerin first met with, law enforcement is still making a case against him, and we'll keep you updated. And tonight the manhunt continues for the alleged gunman, Guillermo Espinoza, who so far has been able to elude authorities.
He's a dangerous, violent individual, and if he's willing to shoot somebody in cold blood in front of their 11-year-old stepdaughter, the potential for him to do something like this again is very, very big.
And who knows what Beguerin would have done next when you consider how cold-blooded he allegedly was in planning Elizabeth's murder.
No problem. I get the car, the shooter. What about the money? It'll be in her purse.
That's right. In a tragic twist of fate, cops say the money Beguerin paid the alleged killers was in Elizabeth's purse the whole time, and she had no idea.
What a terrible, heartbreaking story. But at least due to Detective Wyatt's hard work, Beguerin and Sandoval are now behind bars and they're awaiting trial. As for the alleged shooter, Guillermo Espinoza, cops believe he could still be in Southern California, or maybe in the Phoenix, Arizona area where he's got family. Espinoza claims to be a record producer of violent gangster rap and has a very long record, which includes multiple weapons violations. So if you've seen him, do the right thing, but be very careful and call us at 1-800-CRIME-TV.
Woman's face tattooed on right side of the neck.
Remain anonymous. And oh yeah, one more thing you need to know about what kind of man Nunzio Beguerin is. According to Detective Wyatt, Beguerin was seeing another woman when Elizabeth was murdered. And Beguerin actually invited this woman to go with him to Elizabeth's funeral. How cold is that? Now there's a lot more coming up. Stay with us.
We have to do something, sir.